Okay, so we're going to do two. We're going to do two. No, not one. Episode two. I'm not flipping you off camera.
I promise.
Promise you. So we're going to go Western Conference predictions. We're going to do some bubble teams. Then we'll talk about Western Canadian teams because they were a mess and they were fixing themselves. We're going to do the top two teams in the Central that we think are going to happen. And then we'll hit the rest of the mess, which is like the next 5 teams. Trophy selections, and explain a little game we've been playing for the past good while. Since it's been a while since we've uploaded.
Yeah.
Good reason for that, and we'll explain. Busy.
Life gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah, Mr. 2 jobs over there, and
I try.
You try. You got 2 jobs.
Still making minimum wage.
So we do this on the side for free.
You're welcome.
Easy come, easy go.
We're starting with the Pacific teams because that's
Pacific
what you
division.
wanted. Yeah, you wanted that.
Yeah.
So you want to go first?
Why not? Wild Wild West over here. We just going with division winner right off the top, or who we think's going to finish
Dude,
top.
1 through 8, whatever you want. We're here.
I got my number 1 switched up. Las Vegas came out of nowhere last year. Flower finished first. Probably could have been maybe not league MVP, but he was up there. But I got Anaheim as my number 1 coming in. I think they got a pretty good forward group. Corey Perry, Ryan Getzlov is always one of the best duos in the league. A bunch of young guys around them too. Cam Fowler. I guess Sammy Vatanin's been shipped off to New Jersey, so they kind of lost a piece there. But you got Gibson and Miller on the back end. Pretty good goalies there. San Jose's my number 2 team. They came in 3rd last year. But I think they've turned it around. Can we talk about Carlson?
No, yeah. No, because remember we episode 1 we were like, we're going to play that game.
Okay.
And the game never happened.
Yeah, the game never happened. The game changed before we even got there. So you got the addition of Carlson and Burns on the back end. I mean, good luck. Everybody else on defense. We got pretty much 5 forwards on the ice at any time. Burns did play forward with Minnesota.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah, they still
he
have
was
a
like
list
Buffalo in Chicago.
Yeah, if you look at his like awards finalist stuff, they still list him as right wing D.
Might as well.
I don't.
He's interchangeable. But I got them coming in 2nd this year. They got a pretty good team. Martin Jones on the back end as the goalie in that. Las Vegas, I have them dropping a little bit. Everybody's like, oh, they were such a good team last year. Obviously, nobody saw them coming out as winning the Western Conference, making it to the Stanley Cup final in the first year.
Just put the house on Vegas.
Except for maybe you. All right. Everybody else in Vegas putting their bets down. But I had Vegas coming in 3rd this year. I think they're not... I have people getting on me on Instagram. I'm putting comments on the NHL account. Like, oh, I don't think Vegas is going to win the division this year. Like, oh my gosh, you're just crapping on Vegas. I'm like, I'm not crapping on Vegas. I still think they're going to make playoffs. I just don't think they're going to win the division this year.
You comment on NHL pages? I want to, like, sidebar. You comment on NHL... Second sidebar. Second sidebar. The dog, not trained, old, and likes to talk. So, heads up in advance.
Not like Marc-Andre Fleury, bringing it back around to Vegas.
No, we're
way off.
We're way off topic. No, no Marc-Andre, just very sassy, all the way through and through.
So I got my top 3 in there. That's my top 3 for the Pacific. 3? I don't know if we want to round it out here. I got LA coming in 4th. They add Kovalchuk to the lineup. The Russian factor, which not really. He's 35 years old. He's been around the league a couple of times.
Got old man strength, man.
Been with New Jersey. I've seen him snap a couple of times in preseason. So I think he's still got the hands.
Yeah, all those 17-year-olds have no idea what's going on. Got him.
Still playing over in the KHL with Datsuk, deking everybody out. So
that's fine.
You know, he's just adding to the skill set that he already has in place. I got them as my 4th place team. The Flames bring it up 5th. I don't know what to think of the Flames situation there.
New coach, man.
New coach.
Terrible trade.
Glenn Golitzin?
No
longer there? Or is he the new... I think he's the new head... Or is he... He was the one tossing sticks last year.
I can't
up
remember.
to the top of the first row.
I'm going to be honest, coaches are pretty low on my radar when it comes to stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty low, unless, of course, it's Babcock,
Yeah,
Trot.
it's a carousel in Western Canada.
Yeah,
so.
it should be. It should
But
be.
I got them coming in 5th. Edmonton, I think they're going to drop off. I think they miss playoffs again. Obviously, Connor McDavid had another 100-point season. Wins the Art Ross again, but I just think him alone is not going to be enough. They proved it last year to carry their team over the top end of the playoffs, but it'll be interesting to see. Maybe McDavid, if they can gel a little bit together with Nugent Hopkins, maybe. Taylor Hall, obviously gone, puts up an MVP season over in New Jersey. That's got to feel bad for Chiarelli there in Edmonton.
Dude, I don't know if that's just the biggest FU, but I like it.
Yeah.
I had no faith in New Jersey still.
Yeah. I mean, he pretty much carried him to the playoffs like McDavid did a couple years ago for the Oilers, so
Still
just
no
trading
faith?
off superstars.
No, that's fine. You had two people that could carry you. Now you get rid of one. Terrible decision.
Yeah.
Because you lose your 1-2 factor.
Shirley with the amazing decisions over there in Edmonton. Obviously having Todd McClellan still there as head coach.
I'm telling you.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Telling you. I don't actively want coaches to get fired like right before the season and in the middle of the season. Hate it. Hate it in any sport. Don't fire coaches midway. You got to ride it on out. Because that's the one thing I learned in New Jersey. They were firing coaches every half season. Annoyed the hell out of me. It's your decision. Terrible business decision because you got to let it go and then do it in the off season.
It's like we're pretty much starting over, but mid-season.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense to try and fire a coach.
The only coach I'm like actively fire is McClellan. The only one. I know I don't keep up with coaches a lot, and I know I said that, but
we
fire
know-
that one.
But we know he's been in Edmonton long enough.
The dog popping off again. No,
See, she's even disgusted with McClellan.
she knows.
That's how awful it is.
She can't even look at him.
Looking away right now.
Yeah. She
All right, so I got Edmonton coming in 5th there. Or 6th. I
Sixth.
forget how many teams are in the Pacific now. They switch around so much with Vegas coming in. Vancouver's my number 7. Not much to talk about with Vancouver. I mean, they got...
not much.
I've heard it pronounced a couple of ways, but officially they said it's Peterson.
Peterson.
They said Pedersen, but I think they said that he pronounces it Peterson.
I don't know, man.
Who knows these days? The names change so many times. I'm gonna stick with Pedersen. I like that one. That's the one they came out with first. That's the one I'm sticking with.
Yeah, we've got that draft pick. You got Horvat. You
You got Horvat in place. You got Besser, Prince Charming over there.
Yeah,
The sick flow.
You don't like that? They got Markstrom. I only know Markstrom because he's freakishly big
Yeah.
for but I don't think he's small ball. I don't think he's the one.
No.
He's a filler.
I can't remember who they have on defense. I keep thinking back to the old days. I'm like, oh, they got Hamuse, they got Bieksa. Everybody's gone now.
God, Hamuse is somewhere else. I heard his name the other
went
day.
to Nashville.
That's what it
Couple year
was.
deal, and Bieksa's stuck in
Anaheim.
Anaheim.
Yeah.
Which they got a pretty good back end in Anaheim. So.
Louis out there. I mean, they got a
Got
weird.
Erickson, Roussel. Oh, how could I forget about Roussel?
And then Goodbranson. They have Goodbranson.
Yeah, good Branson.
I think they have one or
they got
two
a couple
guys.
of young pieces there.
Yeah.
They could put together.
Well,
But,
everybody's young in Vancouver.
of course.
It's a new pod. It's a new day.
They added in. I know they added Roussel Beagle from Washington.
Good fourth liner.
So you got a couple of grinders there that could win you some battles on the boards. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll
Could
see.
help them offensively. But then I got Arizona rounding out the bottom. I'm not sure what's going on with the trades there. They added Datsuk and Hossa onto their payroll. Datsuk hasn't played in the league for what,
A year.
3 years?
A year now. This
A
is
year?
year 2.
Has it only been a year?
It's been a year. Feels like a decade.
It feels like a decade now that he's gone in Detroit.
My heart will go on, but there's a hole in it.
Yeah, but I mean, Arizona, they traded away Max Domi over the summer for is that Galchenyuk?
Yes.
Pacioretty went to Vegas, so I mean they lost a couple of key pieces there. Traded away Duclair. I don't even know. Duclair's in Columbus now.
He went from Arizona. He went from, what is it? He went from, I think, New York to Arizona. Look,
Yeah.
homey in Arizona. And I was like, this is going to be nice, because then you're going to add Strome.
Yeah.
And then they were like, nah, we're going to send him to Chicago. And Chicago was like, we need depth players. And then they go, you know what would be great? If we trade him back for Sod.
Yeah. Because that makes sense.
We're
bringing Sod back.
If Duclair ends back up in Arizona, which I don't think he will, keep him. Keep him. Keep him.
I mean, I thought Domi was going to be the face of their franchise for years to come, and then that was gone within a year of him being there. Domi and Duclair were a pretty good team together.
Yeah, and they were at Strom. I'm like, you got a 3-man.
It's like you got 3 guys coming up from juniors and stuff that are going to be really good for your team. It's like they're a tight-knit group. They've played together for a while, but I don't know.
Nah, that makes sense.
That's my Pacific outlook there.
That's yours. Mine. First off, back to the first sidebar because I'm still bothered by this.
Is it McClellan again?
No, that was with the dog. This was you comment on NHL Facebook pages or Instagram pages, like you write in their comments.
Sure, of course.
Why?
Every now and then.
Why?
Why not? Because I like a little debate in my life.
A little debate. You could always.
But social media. It's not a little debate. It springs forth into an explosion of people.
real quickly, and I find that to be more emotional because people are like, those are like the hardcore fans.
Yeah.
The NHL consistently get likes out of me, but they will never get a comment. Because I know as soon as I write something, like someone will completely disagree with me. And honestly, I think I'm more right than wrong.
Mm-hmm. Of course,
because that's how everyone. Yeah, because that's how everybody works.
Everybody on social media is right.
But I'm more right. I'm righter.
I'm righter.
But I'm not dealing with the constant notifications of like they said this. You keep tagging me and stuff, and I find that funny. But I'm still pissed at you for adding me in that Facebook page.
Oh, you're still mad?
I'm still mad.
I still get updates every now and then.
Oh, I still get the updates. I haven't left. I'm not.
I never leave. I just love the drama. See, she loves the drama too.
Yeah, she's all about it.
Obviously.
She's all about it. No, we'll talk about that in our top 10. Or in the next episode, because it's that one guy that posted.
Oh my god.
And he was like, is it a little early to hit the panic button? I'm like, it hasn't even been 10 games.
It's been like 3 games so far. I think we'll be fine.
Like, the road trip was bad. Because here's the thing. Like, we know the season's going on because it's been a month into the season. So we're about 10 games in. Spoiler alert. But we're also doing this really late.
We're going back in the past.
So, if you're like...
I made my picks and I'm sticking to it. I'm not going
to...
I'm not chickening out.
I'm still going to amend it by November. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to amend this by November because I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, it's so stupid.
It's complete reversal, basically, except for maybe the Central.
Oh, God. No, this seems to be okay. I'm okay with this. I'm going to be okay with my Pacific. But, yeah, the commenting, I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I still post and stuff on Twitter, but I disengage from... I think everybody these days with social media, they don't even go there for the post. They go there for the comments. Like, even with articles and stuff that come up on stories, I'm like, I'm just going to read the comments first and see, like, how this goes. Is it clickbait, or is it, like, people are just up in arms over whoever writes what?
I don't know. I'll read the thing, and I'll be like, that was okay. But I love reading the comments. And even on YouTube videos, when we watch random stuff, we read comments.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, whoever runs the Clorox bleach comment thing, you are on point. And that's completely random, but he's just on it.
We got to bring up the Wendy's account.
Wendy's
is just... They win.
They win.
They win in life.
I follow them personally. Now, this is a good time for us to plug in our own stuff.
If you want to plug a sponsor, Wendy's, I'm all about it.
I would love to plug Wendy's. Sounds so awful. I'd love to do that. But I meant for our own personal stuff, because Bodie's more likely to respond to you on Twitter if you follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
We have... the little Fresh Ice account. You can follow him personally, but you got to get a lot of baseball too.
Yeah, I don't know. Baseball. It's been a rough year. Ranger fan, obviously. So, we're really killing it on that 50-win season this year. I don't know. No, we won. We didn't lose 100 this year. We did all right.
Yeah,
we only finished last place in the division. So, yeah. But I mean, it's been more hockey. Hell, I think I've commented more on football this year, or tweeted more about football than I have in my entire life. So
that's so strange. Okay, so anyways, you can follow us on our little channel account. That's going to be mostly hockey, and then if you want to follow us personally, Bodie might plug that later. I don't know. He can do it on his own time.
I'll do it later.
He'll do it later, but yeah, go to our thing. We'll mostly do hockey and update videos off of it, and that's a good way to find us. If you're not subscribed and if you haven't hit the bell, I'm going to start plugging us now because it's good time.
Yeah.
But do that. If we become big enough, right, you can look back and become big enough, I might actually use my Twitter.
Hey, we're getting out there.
I barely post on Instagram.
I'm almost on MySpace. I'm about to do it.
Yeah, I'm still rocking it real hard. I use Instagram more. I read articles on Facebook, and I find myself to be very disgusted every time. So I do that about once a week just to get myself mad.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. I might put you in my top 8 on MySpace. It may happen. It may not.
Do it.
You got to surpass Tom, though.
Yeah.
Tom's the original.
Emoji, yeah. You got, we're working on our Facebook page. But we do have an Instagram, and I guess we'll take a picture of today. That way it looks official.
Yeah, I mean, this is the real first in-person. A lot easier than over Skype. I'm not going to say anything about that. I don't want to lose anything. Potential sponsors in the future, but Skype.
I'm going to blame that on my
stuff to work on.
I'm going to blame that on my dormitory. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm
Wi-Fi is bad in Texas.
Texas,
so,
yes.
There's just miles of nothing here. So,
keep in mind, I'm filming from the miles of nothing. Now, if you were like, oh, this looks semi-good, we actually do have props, as you see, and we actually have, like, mics and stuff. I'm too lazy to buy headphones, and we don't sit far away to where we would need them.
We know it's recorded.
We
trust the process.
Oh, God, I hope so. But that's enough about us. I know that's kind of a side wandering Neander thing. I'll go to my Pacific?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just gonna be butchered, but I got 8 teams, right? The only...
Sure. I think there's 8 teams.
There's 8 teams. Dude, you know, next season, we're going to get Arizona in the Central, and I'm going to be okay with that. I think Arizona will be okay with that. They won't have to travel to...
We got Seattle, in 2020? Come on. I think
2020?
that's what they said.
Yeah, Trump's bringing it, I'm telling you.
And they said that... they said that they might... Well, they said they were probably going to move Arizona to the Central. And then I heard an alternate, I guess, theory or something. They keep throwing it out with Carolina, but I think Carolina's fine for now. But Arizona, if they move to the Central, and then they don't get the Arena situation figured out, that they might possibly move the team to Houston.
I'm about it.
As a possible I don't know if you would consider that not expansion, relocation.
You can do relocation.
Kind of like Hartford with Carolina or the Nordiques to Colorado. That seemed to work out pretty good.
I'm fine with that. I think, again, Houston, top 5 biggest cities. That we're going to go off on a different tangent. and I'm telling you, like, if we get enough followers, we can definitely talk about maps.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk, not just like world maps. I meant like the United States maps, and then we can tie that back into hockey.
Outside the U.S., I don't know any geography whatsoever.
Oh, Lord. But my point is when they go, oh, yeah, like Ohio, they're like, we're the Midwest. I find that to be a lie.
You're kind of in the East.
To me, that's East. I think we really, really need to.
Chicago's pushing it.
Dude, yeah, when they're in the Central, and then you look and you're like...
they're in the Eastern time zone, though, aren't they?
Yeah, you got to look at it. We can break up the time zones. I'm telling you, we look at a map. I have an issue with the maps.
Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time, so they just stick with whatever time they're at, mountain time.
Yeah, but when you break it into divisions, I'm like, we have an issue. Because the NFC East for football is Philly, New York,
Washington.
And Washington. And all 3 of those teams are actually on the East, and then they're like, Texas. Real Central. I'm like...
Oh, this gives me an irk about the... what is it? The American League West. Obviously, I said I'm a Rangers fan, but we got Oakland, L.A. Who else is in that division? I forget because I haven't watched that much baseball this year. Houston is finally it's the AL West, so technically they are Western,
good.
like West Coast teams. So they got Anaheim, like
LA.
I said, Oakland, Houston, and Texas, and Seattle. That's who I was forgetting. How could I forget Seattle? Getting that expansion team soon. But you've got all these teams on the West Coast that are in the Pacific time zone, and then you've got Houston and the Rangers who are based out of Arlington. I'm like, great. So all of our road games that are huge divisional games are going to start at 9 o'clock Central Time. That's great. I love watching 9 o'clock baseball games, of course.
Dude, I'm telling you, that and Pac-12 football. 2 greatest things to entertain me past 9 o'clock. But that's my issue with maps. And I know that's completely off topic again, but that's my issue with maps. I'm like, why can't we just look at it, and just because they break them into time zones. Like we already break into time zones.
It's like, I
just
know
do
what
it.
teams are in the West Coast that are in the Central.
And St. Louis
the
is pushing for it
Midwest.
too because it's in Missouri,
Yeah, it's like
Illinois,
right on the
and
edge of
Ohio. And I'm like, those are more Eastern than anything. And they go, oh, those are like Central time zones. And I'm like, no. To me, you go Texas, that state called Oklahoma.
That thing above Texas.
Yeah, Texas's hat, and then like what is it, Nebraska? I'm like, those are the flyover states. They're like, those are the flyover states. I'm like, no, the flyover state's Utah, because everyone dodging Utah.
It's like, what is Utah? Wyoming.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, I'm like, those are more.
No disrespect. I've never been outside of Texas, but once in my life, and it was Missouri. So
Oh, we're going
not that
outside
great of a
Texas.
trip. I've been through Oklahoma. Haven't been to Oklahoma. So
Yeah,
one day,
we'll gamble.
Choctaw.
Dude,
Shout
right
out.
on, and the best part is that's right on the border.
Oh yeah.
If you guys don't know,
Highway.
that's right on the border, which is like we want to be Texas, but
Louisiana. They want to be Texas.
dude, my issues with
Shreveport.
Louisiana. Look, maybe I'm just the biggest Texas person, and maybe that's just my personality.
That's all Texans.
But like, first off, Arkansas, whatever, right? Oklahoma wishes they were Texas, and I just hate Louisiana.
Oh, of course.
I don't know what your hatred. And everyone's like, "What about New Mexico?" I'm like,
I don't hate Louisiana. It's just
I do. I don't know. Maybe it's
I'm
just
not trying to be disrespectful, but it's irrelevant to me. I don't think of anything outside of Texas.
I'm like, oh, it'd be fun to go to New Orleans, and I've always wanted to do that. And I go, but wait. And 3 states that I absolutely hate is California, Florida, and Louisiana.
Ah, the Sunshine States, man. California.
Have you seen some
When
of
we
the
go to Tampa, go to the beach.
We're going really off topic, but have you seen some of these things where, like, the crimes that they commit and all that other stuff? Like, if you wanted to murder somebody, do it in Florida. They're not going to catch you. And if they do catch you...
Florida's got its own... Oh, my God.
Dude,
I'm not
it's such a
even
mess.
gonna Try and go... They got gators.
Got gators everywhere.
They got hurricanes.
Dude, they have hurricane parties.
Sinkholes.
They have-
Sinkholes were a thing for a little while.
It's such a mess.
Still a thing probably for Floridians. Is that how you say it?
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, they had, and even, like, their college football programs had straight gangsters in it
Oh,
at
the
one
U,
point. The U,
obviously.
after Tebow left, a bunch of them got arrested. I'm like, look, Florida is the place where you just go to commit crime, and you can get away with it. And I'm not saying, like, to bash them. I'm just saying, like, that's how I see it.
So, like Tampa, what's going on? Why haven't you stolen a cup yet? What's going on there?
Yeah, Miami's a nice city. I'll give them credit. Like, I know there's nice cities in every state,
Except
but
for the Marlins. Oh,
that's all you man do.
what a travesty. Derek Jeter, what are you doing?
Again, it's like you could go to Miami, and again, we ideally want to travel to every stadium. And while they're good, we want to go when they're good. We don't want to go watch
If you guys want to send us money to send us around the states,
round
I would
on
not
the
be
board.
opposed.
Look, I would say like we could do a week visit, and we could do like a live show.
I just got some vacation days, so you know,
Oh,
only
dude,
took a year.
get this man off of vacation days. You guys got to get me off overnight. Honestly, that's it's a completely different story. But yeah, but anyways, when I think of New Orleans, I'm like, oh, that's a really nice city at night. I'm like, there's a reason why stuff happens at night. Like they promote all their stuff at night
They
on
don't
Bourbon
have rules.
Street at night. You go to Bourbon Street to get hammered at night, and you'll have a fun time. I'm not saying you won't have a fun time. You're going to have a fun time, but you're not going to be able to see very well because you're drunk and it's hazy and it's dark outside. And
All
I
the
go,
stories I've heard, you don't even want to walk down Bourbon Street.
during the day?
It's just like littered with just trash.
During the day, yeah, and that's why the things happen at night, because that way you don't see all the imperfections.
Oh, you don't see the scurvy on the side there. The
That's-
grossness.
That too, and I go, that's probably the biggest tourist attraction, that's the biggest dump, but it happens at night, so everyone's like, it's great.
Oh yeah.
In Vegas too, Vegas has...
You don't have to live there.
Yeah, you don't have to
see
live
it
there.
during the day.
Yeah, I'm like, that is the best marketing campaign ever. How do we get people here? We'll give them lots of booze, and we'll make it party at night.
And we'll just wait till the sun goes down.
Yeah, and that's what we'll do. It's almost like zombies,
We've
but...
got that bar mentality.
Dude,
You
all
just wait
about
till
it.
the lights go down.
All about it. Because, it's like that good saying, at 10 o'clock, she's at 2, and then at 2 o'clock, she's at 10, and that describes New Orleans perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
But no offense, you guys. I will travel there. I hear you guys have really good food.
I mean,
And-
we can drive there. We don't even have to fly.
Right?
Couple-hour trip.
Dude, I'm all about the driving thing.
Let's go.
I mean, okay, hypothetically, if we had to go to Canada, or we had to go to New York to go watch these games. Because again, we do want to do that. I'm about flying.
Yeah, I don't want to drive.
You don't want to drive to those. No, those are like 2-day drives. But I only want to fly at night. Like, I want to get like the last flight because I know there's not going to be any screaming babies.
I want to get the red eye, like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Dude, we could do that.
$80.
Dude, we could do that. It'll be cheap.
That's when you take them. You get there at like 10 o'clock in the morning, but then your sleep schedule is all. You just got to stay up for 24 hours.
I mean, I'm all about flying late at night because there's really no one in the airport at that point. And the flights are kind of empty, and everything's just more relaxed. And you get 2 bags of peanuts. And the morning flights, no one gives you anything.
No.
They got to be like, we got to stock up. But that's what I would do. And if you were going to move Arizona, right, you can move them to Houston. I don't really know how big the market is down there. I'm thinking you just throw them in Kansas City.
It's more of a baseball team now. Or a baseball town,
What?
I should say. Houston.
Houston's a big sports town
Or
when they're
just-
good.
Like, you got the San Antonio Spurs, you got the Texans, who are...
No, you got the Rock. Here's the thing. In Houston, you
I
got
forget about the Rockets,
yeah,
too.
dude, you got the Rockets.
Why did I say San Antonio?
Because you could put a hockey team in San Antonio and people would go watch.
San Antonio is basically Houston.
Yeah,
For
really?
me.
For you? Oh, dude, you're so off on these maps. I'm
I'm
telling
all about I don't even know. Texas is so big, I get confused on the cities.
I have to drive through them all the time, but to me, you could put a hockey team in Kansas City, like if you really wanted to expand, because I know there's not really anything there. You could put one in Nebraska, but they'd be like, "What's the point of going there?" And I'm like,
It's more of college hockey towns,
"Yeah,
you know.
but
I don't know about Nebraska. I know like North Dakota got the Fighting Sioux.
yeah." But I'm like, if there's a market for that,
Yeah, somewhere in the Midwest, because nobody has any teams. But like as far Midwest as you're going to get is like St. Louis
yeah.
or Colorado, if you want to even consider that Midwest.
But Kansas City is all about the Chiefs and the Royals. I'm like, you could fit one more in there.
You got history there.
Yeah, you could fit one like team in there.
They'd be for it. They're a sports town.
Yeah, you just got to get like a major sports town that's a flyover state. But that's my thought. We can.
Yeah.
God.
More on that at a later date.
Yeah, if you.
Louisiana, how did you make your way into a hockey podcast?
I don't
You
know.
did it. Congratulations.
It was Oklahoma.
It's all their, I always blame anything on Oklahoma.
Dude.
Might as well.
I
blame Baker Mayfield. It's his fault.
We're such on a different tangent. I am so sorry. But this is what you get.
We're still on the Pacific Division, right?
Yes. Still on it. We have 2 episodes left. Wiggles. Love you to death. But I'm going to throw you outside. Oh.
Yeah.
If she was quiet enough, I'd bring her dog bed in here because I bought her a really nice dog bed. But this is the stuff I deal with. And I'm like, look, we can't be doing this. She's popping off. Now, we get enough likes. I'll post her on Instagram in our little official page as our mascot.
Send you a pic.
I'll send you a pic. Love her to death. She got no teeth. She's looking like a real goon. She's looking like a real goon. But so my divisions 1 through 8. I'm going to roll through this really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm going back on the Full House of the Knights because last year I told you. I texted you.
Bet on the house.
You don't bet against the house because the house always wins. And I was like, Knights all the way. And you know what you told me?
Nah.
New Jersey.
Oh my god. I wasn't buying into New Jersey last year either.
You were.
After like 10 games.
Yeah.
But early on, I'm like, I don't know about the Devils, and then they get off to like a 7-3 start. I'm like, all right, I'm buying the Devils.
Yeah, I asked you after 10 games. I go, the Devils are on a nice win streak.
It's like, oh, they're the real deal. Go out in the first round because they meet the Lightning.
Yeah, I asked you. I was like, do you buy into Vegas? And you go, no. And I go, what about New Jersey? And you told me you would buy into New Jersey more than you would Vegas. And I was like, that's insane. I go, I'm buying into Vegas. Biggest chip on your shoulder. You need a little bit of a chip on your shoulder.
I'm a terrible poker player because I don't bluff at all.
So, point is, when we go to Vegas, because it's happening, because everyone goes to Vegas.
Yeah, anybody in Vegas, don't listen to this. I'm a terrific card player.
When we go to Vegas, I'm coming home with all the money.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing nickel slots all day long.
That's
Penny
fine.
Slots, maybe.
If I'm drunk enough, you got to wheel me over there.
I'd be like, well, I already used 100 pennies. I'm out. That's all I'm bringing. I'm bringing $1.
Dude, every time we throw a penny in there, I'm just going to yell rain dance into the slot.
It's going to work.
I'll get kicked out. It'll be good. Sorry. So I'm going back on the Knights. Patch Reddy's a good ad. They got pieces locked down. I was surprised that Neil left. He's
for
just,
Calgary.
For Calgary of all places. You didn't go back to Pittsburgh. You didn't go back to Nashville.
Didn't come back to Dallas.
Oh, I don't even know if there's room on Dallas. That's my issue. It's like, how are we going to sign people that are top 6? Yeah. We're fine. So then, I'm looking at it, because I know Bodie looked at the stats last year, because he sent me his little show notes thing. So it took me a while to read through them, because you're like, what do you mean? I'm like, he didn't write a paragraph. I have a paragraph of notes on each team of what I think of them.
Yeah, for someone that's a writer, I do not write a lot.
Yeah, but you threw me off because you went last season and then where you were ranking them, and so it was
it was like where they were last season, but it was like it's a mess.
It's a mess. I was reading it, I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I figured it out. But I went Knights. Number 2 was my Sharks. Not my Sharks. I'm not a big fan. I'm a big Carlson fan.
He said my Sharks.
I said my Sharks. I lean more Sharks than I do any other California team because I feel like San Jose isn't a complete disaster. I don't think I could really...
McCollum's gone?
Yeah, that too, but I meant just in general, they're on the northern end of California. I'm not a big fan of LA. I think it's pretty. I think there's a lot of smog, and then underneath LA is Orange County where Anaheim's at, and I'm like, not a big fan of 1-2 right there.
Yeah.
Everything's piled on top of each other.
Had a team in Oakland? Like they do in baseball? Oakland's just bad. It's bad for sports right now.
No, San Jose's next to Oakland. They have the Oakland market.
Raiders are moving out. They're heading to Vegas.
Possibly.
We're
not going to get into other sports. I'm trying not to. But San Jose. I like the addition of Kane. That was a smart move. That was probably smart. You usually lack on offense for me. Carlson, I think they gave up too much for him. And my only issue with that was, how is your power play going to work with Burns and Carlson? Because Carlson's more of a defender than Burns, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But they both jump into the play so much that, are you going to be able to do that?
Yeah. Are you going to have enough guys that can back check? Burns and Carlson, I don't know if they're going to play that much together. Or if they're going to... Would you think about possibly splitting them up on the power play?
They did that last week. Because we try to watch enough games of everything, but they did that last week because at first they were rolling Burns and Carlson on the same power play unit, and they weren't converting, and they had a couple chances. They had a fair amount of power plays, and that just wasn't happening. I was like, see, that was my issue, is because how are you going to work that with the offense that is Jumbo? Jumbo's going to want the puck when he's healthy. Pavelski's going to do it, and Couture's going to hold it in the corner. So how are you going to manage the balance of this puck? And then they split them into 2, and I think it was working for a little bit, and I think they went back to putting Carlson and Burns together. But that was my only issue with them. I was like, the lack of offense that you may or may not get with them. Their goaltending is usually pretty good. And they have a fair amount of mixture between offense and defense, but the power play is what was concerning to me. But I don't think they're going to hang with Vegas, because they're kind of... Yeah, the flower. No, not only that, but Vegas just seems to be faster, a little bit younger. San Jose has experience. They just... No, I don't think they're as fast.
A couple of years ago, so they're not that far removed from playoff success.
Yeah, they go make it every year to me. Which brings me down to the Ducks. Now, as much as I dislike Anaheim, just being a Stars fan, I really try to just be fair. Let's put it that way. I try to be fair. I think Gibson is a phenomenal goalie after what I've seen.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. We're a month in. You can just go ahead. I like him.
Right up the MVP awards already.
Yeah, right up. They have...
You could have a goals against average of 4, and that would be ridiculous this year.
Yeah. That's so weird. But I have the Ducks. They still have their core. They have Perry and then everybody else, so I thought they were going to be okay. Not great. I think they're going to lose to the season series. They're going to beat the Kings. They're going to lose to San Jose. And they're going to struggle with a few teams here and there. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they're just a big body team, and I like that. My 4 team, I put a lot of faith in this. I put a lot of faith in a lot of these picks because I just thought they were going to be better.
LA?
No.
Oh.
See, this is where we disagree. Because when I saw this list, I was like, oh, we agree on a lot of stuff. And I didn't do this just to contradict you. I did this because I was just
did it on purpose.
No, just off of sheer talent alone. I put Edmonton.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fair. You got you got Talbot, and you got Nurse. You got a great
Nugent Hopkins starting to find his game
Yeah, you got great talent out there, and probably the best player
in the world.
one of the top 5. I think people are leaning more Crosby. That's fair.
3 championships.
3 championships. You lead in points. You do stuff like.
Been around for a while.
Yeah, McDavid's young, but McDavid is just so good. There's really no reason why
His
you
speed
couldn't.
is ridiculous.
Yeah. If I had to knock a team right now, because I was like, you know what, my top 3 teams, Knights, Sharks, Ducks, if I had to knock a team, it'd probably be the Ducks. But they play so physical, and they slow teams down, and they're really defensive-minded, that I think Edmonton would struggle because they're just so young. So I have Edmonton as 4. And then I went LA. Because I was like, LA is usually pretty consistent in what they're doing. They added a piece here and there. They're big bodies, too. I'm like, that's how you really want to play, kind of. So I went LA because I'm like Quick, Doughty, Kopitar. Like those are some solid guys. They got Toffoli. Like they'll be okay. They're not going to be great. They'll be okay.
They've got that core group that's been there for a while.
Yeah, they have good leadership, and I think you could really. And they have a new head coach. I'm like, I think they're really gonna be okay. But I'm not like they're not going to beat the Oilers. I don't think they're going to beat Anaheim. They're going to struggle a little bit. My 6th spot is Calgary because I was like. They have more talent than Vancouver, and they seem to be slightly more organized this year. Somewhat. Not great organization. Like, you want to talk about being great.
They're trying to fit the pieces.
Yeah, they're trying to fit the pieces. And I go, but they're more out of the rebuilding phase than anything. I'm like, they're missing here and there, and they could tweak this and that. I go, great organizations like Tampa, Washington, Pittsburgh. Those are great organizations. Because you go in and it's solid. This one's a little bumpy.
Down.
Yeah, this one's a little bumpy, but I like where they are. So I had them at 6. Now, if they could play right, they could move up in the standings and beat LA. Because I don't think LA is that good. They're just big, and they know how to just play physical. They're not going to score a lot. Then at 7, I have Vancouver. Because I was like, they got some talent. And I think they're managed better than Arizona. I think everybody's managed better than Arizona. But I have Vancouver at 7, then I have the Coyotes at 8. Mainly because they made terrible decisions. Now, they were doing smart things. They brought in Jomerson, and they got Ronton. And I didn't like that Louis Domingue left because I thought he was going to be the next number 1. But now he's in Tampa, so Tampa has a pretty good backup. But that's where it's at. I had the Coyotes at 8. Lost Domi declaring, you said it. I just
mismanagement.
I'm like, what are you doing out there? Like you're fighting for a stadium. I think you have a loyal fan base out there because there's really nothing out in Arizona.
But she's like what, youngest GM in the NHL right now?
Dude,
NHL history.
Him and Toronto, they're both young. I have no problem with the younger movement. That's another thing we're going to talk about later in our 3rd video because we're doing 2 today. You get a 2 video special. It's a twofer. And this one's kind of gone off course, but that's okay. Because I hope it's intriguing. But that's where I have it. Yeah, I even wrote down your teams. I'm silly. I have your teams written down.
Come on.
I'm sorry. It's part of the pre-show. If you guys want that, you're going to have to hit that like button and then we'll figure it out.
Give us stuff for free. Come on.
Yeah, don't do it. But, yeah, we'll move on to the Central now. I know that took a while.
Yeah.
And we're sorry about that, but not really.
No, we get a little in-depth on it.
That's fine.
And our perspective of how we're going to look at this season.
Look at it, and keep in mind, we know there's a month of knowledge hockey in there, but this is where they're going to end up.
Yeah.
And like I said in the first video, I think we're going to do 2 to 3 amendments because America. Yeah, America. We're going to, you got to tweak it a little bit, but for the most part, I think that's fairly accurate.
Yeah.
It's, right now, 10 games in, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah, gotta make it there.
Gotta make it. So we're going to move on to the Central now.
Oh, boy. We know the top 2 teams are going to be, obviously. Oh, what is this?
That's your list right there. That's your.
I got it on the phone.
You're good.
But I can't read, so. I got it switched up a little bit. Nashville, obviously, is going to be one of those top teams in the Central, but I'm leaning on Winnipeg this year to win the Central. They're going to be my first place team. Benny and the Jets. Not Benny and the Jets, but, Line A and the Jets. Working their way to the top.
Patty and the Jets.
Patty Cake. Baker's Man.
Dude.
No, that's Patty Kane. Baker's Man. Always missing his Panarin bread. Oh, I'm gonna get on that later. That's a later topic, but I got Winnipeg winning the Central Division. Another different team. The sixth different team in the last 6 seasons?
Winnipeg? Yeah, that would
Or
be
7
different.
seasons to win the Central Division.
That'd be different.
I got Nashville coming in second. Obviously, they still got their core group locked up. You got Rene on the back end. As long as he can stay healthy, that's a big problem lately. I mean, it was a little bit last season, but you still got such a good defensive core there. Subban, Ellis. What else you got there in Nashville?
Yossi?
Yeah, see? He gets mad when I forget names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Yossi, new captain there, taking over. I got them finishing in second. Minnesota, they've always been they're not really a wild card, but they've always been a playoff team. I don't know what it is once they get to the playoffs, what changes health-wise, maybe.
Last year was health.
I mean, Parise missed half the season last year, and Suter broke his leg before the playoffs started. But they've got so much speed. They're kind of like, I would say Nashville with their speed, just not as big as Nashville.
They're like the Stars kind of 2.0.
Yeah.
Their Stars more consistent, I would say.
Yeah, they've got that good group there. They've had Parise and Suter for quite a while. Spurgeon on the back end. For being 5'8", he's one of the best defensemen in the league.
We'll get into that topic next video too, because I found this to be kind of interesting too.
Yeah.
Of where the league's going, and I'll bring it up later. But I find that to be interesting.
Yeah. So I got Minnesota coming in third. I think that's where they finished last season. That's what I have written down, so I assume it's fact. I got Dallas coming in fourth as a wild card. Obviously, they had a tough season last year. Had that not a tough season until March. Had that two-week road trip that just dumped their season, basically.
You saying that as a fan, you got them at fourth? Or you saying that as just like?
I'm saying that as a hockey fan.
As a hockey.
I got them at fourth.
Okay.
As a Stars fan, obviously, I got them first. Obviously. But I'm trying to be realistic while still trying to be a trying? Is that a word? Trying to be a fan at the same time, but I'm trying to be realistic as a hockey fan. But I got them coming in fourth. St. Louis, obviously, I don't know about St. Louis. They added O'Reilly. That's a big piece coming from Buffalo. So
Maroon,
adding some toughness to their lineup. Which
and,
St. Louis is already a pretty tough team. You got Bouwmeester on the back end, Pietrangelo, Parayko. They got good defense.
Added Cole. Yeah, they added some people.
But O'Reilly, having Fabry back healthy will be a big addition to that team. Tarasenko, if he can just continue to score 40 goals every season, I think they'll be all right.
That's a lot to ask. Okay.
The goalie situation, though, Jake Allen, he's your number one.
Is that where he's at? They've gone through so many. They got rid of.
They go back and I was trying to remember if they got rid of Allen, but they got rid of Elliott, sent him off to Calgary.
Calgary? I thought they sent him to Philly.
Was it Philly?
They sent him to Philly. They sent him.
I get confused on the goalies in St. Louis.
There's so many players that get moved. Like
Hutton's a good backup there in St. Louis.
Not too bad.
I think he'll give them some steadiness back there. But I got them coming in fifth. Colorado, my number 6 spot. I don't know. The whole Matt Duchene thing didn't affect them personally. I think it affected Duchene maybe a little bit more personally than it affected Colorado as a team. McKinnon's a pretty good leader there, along with Landeskog. They got a good core group. Tyson Berry on the back end. They got Calvin Pickard in that.
They have Varlamov and Pickard.
So you got two pretty good goalies on the back end.
That big dude. What's him?
I forget his name.
I know what he's big. I had his name right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Plays really physical. Plays right on into it.
Yeah, they got a good team. They got good speed. I just don't see them as a playoff team. Maybe. I mean, are we still going on the thing that there's already been 10 games this season?
I mean, we'll get that into the third video. I mean, just understand this is where we have our rankings, right?
Yeah, this is where our rankings were before the season started.
And then, of course, this got blown up, so this is definitely going to be amended.
This is bad.
This is so bad.
This looks bad. It's preseason picks, but I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna be truthful. I had Colorado coming in 6th, missing the playoffs. Chicago, disaster of just trades and everything else. Kane and Taves had a down season. Well, not Kane. Kane had a really good season.
Taves had a solid season.
Taves seemed like maybe at times he struggled. They got rid of a couple of people. Panarin was gone. Hartman was gone. They had a good kid in DeBrincat coming in. Alex DeBrincat is a rookie. He played really well for them. Crawford, health issues, concussion, being out for almost 10 months.
They got rid of Jalmerson. They had Daly. Daly's in Detroit, right?
Daly's in Detroit.
They had
They've lost a bunch of people that they got
they
from
just
trades.
they get rid of like the bottom half of their team because they had Teravainen and they had Van Riemsdyk.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they got rid of a bunch of good young players to bring Sod back into the fold. I don't know. Sod's a good player. I'm just saying, I'm not sure he's as good as others that they've traded away. But I got Chicago coming in, finishing in the last spot in the Central to wrap it up.
Mine's pretty much the same except for the 1-2. Everything else is the same.
Mm-hmm.
I have Nashville because my thing with Nashville, they're good enough to keep going back to the top, and they're stable enough. My issue with Winnipeg, and again, I was telling you when we lived together in Arlington, I was like, oh, Winnipeg,
Pick
man.
Winnipeg every year.
Pick Winnipeg, and the one year I don't, they finally do something. And it's productive. But I have Nashville because I think they're going to take less penalties. They're not highly penalized, but they're right. They flirt on that border of where it could be too much. Now with Winnipeg, they just take too much. Like there are going to be some games that Winnipeg loses because they took too many penalties. They lost control of what they're doing, and they take too many penalties. Now I have Minnesota at 3. And again, they're identical to Dallas. They have key pieces there. They have like good goal scoring. They have it there. I don't think they should have fired Mike Yeo.
No,
mistake. And then I went Dallas because I was like, you know what? It's a new coaching regime. We have some good signings. We had decent signings. We really needed depth scoring.
Yeah, that was one thing that kind of disappointed me in the offseason, that Dallas didn't make any... Really, they were obviously in the Carlson talks and all that. They didn't want to give up Heiskanen. But I was looking at a guy like Panarin. What would the Stars be willing to give up for a guy like Panarin? And if it's going to be too much, obviously they don't want to give up a bunch of young guys that they have
for a year
that are cheap
for a year.
Now.
Yeah, because again, he's a free agent after this year, so you get him for a year. You're running him. This isn't the NBA.
You don't want to give up your future core players for
a
guy
rental.
That's going to be a rental that may not even get you to the playoffs.
Yeah, so I got Dallas at 4 because I think they're going to be better than St. Louis. And Chicago's too weak. The only issue is Colorado, and I think Colorado plays too high in penalties too from time to time, and that's the way I view them. Is they take a lot of penalties sometimes. But I had Dallas, and then at 5 I had St. Louis. St. Louis doesn't have anyone besides Tarasenko and Fabry scoring goals half the time, and I go that was the issue. And they brought back Perron too with Maroon.
You lose Stastny.
And you lose Stastny, but that was St. Louis looks like they're just going to be a big physical team.
But they're not going to have any offense.
They're not going to have any offense. So I have them kind of at 5. I was debating on whether or not to put them at 6 because Colorado would just be able to score so much more.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, yeah, Colorado. So then I have Colorado at 6. Varlamov's here and there, depending on what he's doing. And besides their number 1 line, they don't really have people. And then they kind of acquired people throughout the year. And to me, I think last year they just played a little too inconsistent. I don't really remember where they finished because you wrote that down. But I was just like, yeah, they play inconsistent at times. They take too many penalties and they get dumb. They don't really play defense. Varlamov bails them out so much.
It's too much.
Too much at times that they lose games. And then at 7 I had Chicago because they just make terrible trades in the offseason, right? And they're all over the place. They get rid of the bottom half of the lineup. Like they got rid of Duclair and they got rid of Duclair and Panarin to get Sod. And then they and then they got rid of Jalmerson for...
I don't even know.
Can't remember who that was for, but they get rid of their back end, and I still think after their last Stanley Cup run, they only play with about half a team. Like, come playoffs, like, you only play with half a team.
Yeah, you're down to basically 3 or 4 defensemen.
Yeah, you play 3 defensemen.
You got a top line.
And you play Taves, and then you play Kane, and then you play a third line, and then you play Kane, and then you play Taves again. And then you might throw the 4th line in there, And I go, they're not balanced. When you want to win championships, you got to be balanced, and they don't look balanced. They're good. Last year they showed like we have no balance. So I think I have Chicago at 7. Obviously, since we're a month in now, those are all going to change.
Reverse.
But at the time when I wrote this, I realized like they're not balanced.
Yeah, it's not going to stay
like that. So then we're going to move on to the bubble teams now. I have that on my phone if you need to look at yours, but I can go right on into the bubble teams now because of where I rank these teams. I have the Preds, Jets, and Wilds at 1, 2, and 3. Right? Preds, Jets, Wild, Knights, Sharks, Ducks 1, 2, 3, and then we needed 2 teams that are the bubble teams. Now I leaned really hard for Dallas as a number 2 wild card, and that was me being realistic as possible. Ideally, I want them to be a 1.
Mm-hmm.
If they had to go in a wild card, be a 1 wild card.
Yeah, get that home ice advantage.
But they play inconsistent at times.
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
not home ice advantage.
yeah.
What am I saying?
Play the number 2 seed.
Yeah.
Don't play the 1 seed.
You don't want the division winner first round.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I want them at 2. I think they could be a good 2 seed because they play inconsistent at times. I think they could do it. If they don't get ranked, they'd be a number 2 wild card for me. And I had Edmonton as the wild card 1. Because sheer talent alone is going to win you 1 or 2 games. So that's where it was. But my other teams in the race for it was St. Louis, LA, Colorado, and Calgary. Those were my 2 question mark teams, but St. Louis would be a 3 wild card because they play really, really good defense and they can score. And LA just usually turns it on the back half of the season. On the back 9, the Kings start coming. And that's where I have my bubble teams. I don't know what you got.
Like I said, I got Anaheim finishing as the division winner for the Pacific. Then San Jose is the 2 seed. Las Vegas is the 3 seed. Over in the Central, I got Winnipeg, Nashville, Minnesota, 1, 2, 3. Mine right now, I had LA as my first wild card. I just think the offense they have, and Jonathan Quick, if he can stay healthy back there, he can win them some games during the season, keep them in it a little bit. It just depends on how they gel as a team throughout the season. I mean, they've had their struggles lately, lost, 5 in a row so far. It's not been a good go of things for them. Maybe they need to get back to the Staples Center, get some health behind them, get the home crowd behind them. But I got them as my first wild card going into the season. Second wild card, same. I picked Dallas. I kind of teetered on the line. I thought Dallas and St. Louis maybe battle it out there for the wild card. St. Louis was down to the last game last season before Colorado beat them in that final game to win the second wild card. But I think Dallas has got the youth. They've got the core there in place, obviously, with Ben Sagan and Radulov. But having Nichushkin back in the fold from the KHL, if he can produce like he's capable of, that could add a secondary scoring factor in there for him. If Spezza can rebound from the bad year that he had, 26 points, that's not really... You might expect that of like Mark or Richie, somebody like that. But Spezza, that's been around for the league, scored, 35 goals a couple of seasons ago when they won the division. But having him bounce back and then having some stability in the, not just the back end, but having goaltending as well with Bishop, if he can stay healthy. He had a couple of problems last year staying healthy, injuries.
We can't be
that
giving
you
them some
can't
goals.
control. But the defense has got to be able to shut it down. And the offense is really what killed Dallas last season on that 8-game road trip. They were getting pretty good goaltending from Kari Lettinen whenever Bishop went down with the injury, but nobody besides Ben Sagan and Radulov could score for the Stars, and that was really their downfall.
Yeah. Yeah, that's still an issue. Now, I know it's starting to get darker.
I promise we're not putting effects in. It's winter in Texas. It's almost 70 degrees outside.
It's almost fall. Yeah, I mean, Dallas has that issue. We can turn the light on.
Brighten it up in here?
It's not going to be like super bright, but it'll be a light.
Yeah, it'll be enough. Bye. I'm done. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. You can see us.
Yeah, I know we were wasting too much time the first hour he was here watching other YouTube videos. And then we had that little we set up a little bit, not a whole lot, but then
Enough.
we did like a little pre-show.
Oh, yeah.
By
That was a
accident.
gem.
Yeah, by accident. We haven't seen each other in 2 months in person, so we're going to go way off topic here.
You bring up the topic of Joe Buck. Things just take a turn.
Oh, God.
But we're gonna move on from that.
We're gonna move
we
on.
talked about that in pre-show. If you want that, you can.
You're going to have to do
listen
something for
to
us.
that,
You're going to
so-
have to do something for us.
Yeah.
You're going to have to share the video. You got to do something for us. It's actually popping off again. Oh, hi. Okay, so those are our rankings and then our bubble teams. We're going to go according to my notes. We're going to go into Western Canadian teams real quick. And now we're going to take a little dive into them. And I have Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary listed.
Those would be the Western Canadian teams.
Those would be them. Yes, I know. Brilliant. Now, this is the preseason look and what I thought of them. I thought Vancouver, complete rebuild of a year, kind of flatlining it. I had Ottawa the same way, as they're not going to win a lot. You're going to get some picks, and they're looking to fill holes. They're not going to be great. You know they're not going to be great.
No.
I expect more out of Edmonton. And Calgary, I just want you to be competitive in a wild card spot. I'm not saying you're going to get a wild card spot. I'm not saying you... But there's definitely
I'm
a
just saying they're
possibility.
not going to be in the top three.
Yeah, you're not top three, but you could. You're talented enough. You have Neal and Goudreau and Monahan, Backlund. You can get solid goaltending out of Smith from here and there. Your defense jumps into the play.
They're a good north-south team, for sure. They got speed.
My only issue, they're so undersized
Yeah.
at times.
They get beat by physical teams. That playoff series a couple years ago against Anaheim was just an example of that. Just getting beat down.
Yeah, and so those are my thoughts on it. I expect more out of Edmonton because Edmonton is big. They can play physical, not super physical. I'm not saying they can hang in there with, like, let's say L.A. and Boston and Anaheim.
And Talbot's good.
Talbot's good, yeah. And I go, but Vancouver, I know they're just going to be rebuilding.
They don't really have an identity.
Edmonton,
there.
this is the fourth year with McClellan,
Yeah.
and that's about the time I give coaches the year. Like, you hire a new coach, you give them 3 seasons. The first season's to figure out the pace and the game level and how to manage it and who's going to be sticking around for you. Your second year, you need to show some improvement. Right? You can win like 30 games your first year, win 35 to 40, show slight improvement. Your third year, you really got to show like we can be competitive.
Yeah.
I'll give that chance to Calgary. It's first year. Edmonton, have to win. You're too talented not to be
You got to
players.
at least be in the playoffs.
You got to be in the playoffs.
I mean, they've got the best player, I think, in the game.
They went 2 years ago. We're in the apartment.
Yeah, I went to the second round a couple of years ago.
Second round? Yeah.
Yeah, and then lost to Anaheim.
And then next year, straight miss.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Missed it by a wide margin.
yeah, not
And
even
Connor
close.
McDavid put up like 110 points.
Yeah, it's like you can't be doing that. That's my issue. Right there is where you probably could have fired the coach, and I thought everyone was going to. They didn't. Thoughts on those teams?
Like I said, I think with Edmonton, the problem's been consistency. You just got to be. It's like you have the best player in the world on your team. You've got good pieces around it, not the best players in the world. You got Nugent Hopkins, who's been pretty good the last couple of seasons. Obviously, you got Lucic there to build down the house, protect the house, I guess you could say. He's a big guy there. He's a power forward, I guess you could consider him. He goes to the front of the net.
He's the big body you need.
I mean, he's the guy that protects the guys.
I don't know how much fighting he's going to do. Fighting's changed, and we'll talk about that later, too.
Yeah,
But
that's a topic for another thing.
Nurse is there. I mean, you have Larson. You have plenty of talent.
Yeah. I mean, they traded away a couple of good pieces, but you've got good pieces there that you've built over all these first overall draft picks that you've had and different things like that. But and they've got a good goalie in Talbot back there. They've got a good team. They showed they can be a playoff team a couple of years ago. They win in the first round.
I went over 40 wins.
It's like I expect them to at least,
45 wins, right?
I mean, 40 to 45, I think is a good range. I mean,
I don't know if they'll get you in playoffs.
It's like I think as maybe a Pacific team they could get in there. It's going to be difficult, obviously, with Anaheim and LA and San Jose. Those 3 California teams are going to be tough to compete against to try and get in the top 3 along with Vegas. But I think, like I said, just consistency is going to be a problem. Edmonton, they've got a good team. They just got to they've got to have the want to, and the coach has got to be with the right coaching style there, I think. But we'll see what happens.
I think he just craps on everywhere he goes, man. Because
It's
San
just
Jose, they
growing
had...
pains in Edmonton, too, lately. Like I said, just the revolving carousel of coaches trying to...
No, they had him. They had him for 2 years. Fire him.
Yeah.
Fire the guy.
Fire him. He's gone.
He's the only one that I'm actively trying to fire.
But out of those 3 teams, I think that's the one that most likely gets in the playoffs. Like I said, I would rank Calgary second on that list with just the amount of speed that they have, but they lack in size. But and it's also been a carousel in the goaltending department there, just building goaltenders and then not knowing who to use. And
them in Anaheim.
it's like they each have 3 goaltenders that could possibly be a starter.
Dude, they like stock them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're buying in bulk. I don't know what they're doing.
It's like you could use these for trade pieces.
I don't know if they trade them. I don't know. I don't know what they do with. But they have like a weird amount of goalies that are either playing really well at the same time, or are just like, hey, we're really capable, and then we're just stuck here. It's just so weird because Anaheim trades them off, or Anaheim lets their contract expire and then they move on.
Yeah, they just let them go.
Yeah, I'm like, those are good trading pieces.
Yeah, they just run out their career without getting anything in return.
Yeah, so weird.
But then Vancouver's third on my list. I don't know what to think of Vancouver as of yet. I mean, they've got Pedersen, whatever his name is.
But they have him.
Had. As soon as he comes back off the IR, I think he's going to be a good piece for him. I mean, he's got a shot.
He's looking pretty good until that whole concussion thing, but he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, they got Horvat there. They got Besser. They've got a bunch of good young players in place,
and they got enough mixture. They have a surprisingly good mixture of veterans that are on the.
They've got a couple of good third liners in there. They can really add points onto there.
My biggest issue with them is Markstrom. He doesn't look mobile.
Yeah. He doesn't move greatly. But it's fine. I'm okay with that. And then we'll go on to the top 2 teams in the Central because to me, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Like, with the Central being a whirlwind. Yeah.
We'll use a Texas term.
It's a Texas twister down there.
Yeah, it is. You jumble them all up. Big old hootenanny, I'll tell you. But Nashville and Winnipeg definitely stand out of the 7 teams there.
Yeah.
I know, I was just looking at the list. And,
so I could remember the numbers.
You think I could remember 7 teams are in the Central.
There's
enough teams in the Central. But the top 2, definitely Nashville and Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah.
Coaching in Nashville.
Oh, they've got
superb.
2 great coaches on both teams. With Paul Maurice and Laviolette. It's just ridiculous.
And to me, Winnipeg could beat Nashville. They just play so undisciplined at times, and they're so big-bodied. That's the thing. Yeah. I'm all about it. Like, when you need to be in playoffs, you need to be able to score. Check. Both of these teams play physical. Check.
It's like, but you can't take stupid penalties.
Winnipeg takes stupid penalties.
And you can't be running around having 2-3 guys in the box at the same time.
Yeah, Winnipeg does that. Winnipeg also takes unnecessary suspensions.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not number 2. But
they're my number 1, just so everyone knows. I love Nashville. I love PK Subban. He's like one of my favorite players of all time. Shout out to Mark Bergevin over there in Montreal. What a great trade.
Dude, I love their new uniforms. The gold? Nashville? Yeah, because they had that flunky...
Yeah, they've had that phase where they're going through like a really dark navy blue, grayish, silver
be different
atrocity.
Yeah, be different. And the whole stadium's yellow.
Now it's mustard yellow.
I mean, not the best looking, I'll say, not the best looking helmet color there is, but
I know, but it lights up the arena.
I'm about it.
It's yellow in there.
I'm about
gold. I'm not sure if they go the Boston route where it's like, oh, remember that episode like when Erickson got traded to Boston? He's like, oh, I like the black and yellow. He's like, it's black and gold.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's yellow.
I have that problem at my university because we're blue and gold.
Yeah.
I go, oh yeah, we're just blue and yellow, and everyone's like, no, we're gold. I'm like,
it's like, no, that's Michigan. Or no, that's Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's
blue and
gold.
They're actually gold.
They're gold.
Blue and gold.
Michigan's a big blue, but to me, I'm like, oh no, that's blue and yellow, and then everyone's like, no, that's gold. Now I've gotten back in the habit of calling it gold, but you look at it and you're like, That's yellow.
Yeah, that's yellow.
That's yellow. Like, my eye sees yellow.
Yeah. It's a good yellow in Nashville.
Oh, yeah, it's a good
The
yellow.
crowd pumping in there.
Live bands, famous people, loud. It's about it.
It's the Vegas of the Central.
But those are the top.
show.
Yeah, those are the top 2 teams in the Central, because they're just. Nashville has Forsberg. Forsberg's big, hard to knock off the puck.
Hands.
Probably one of my new favorite players. Probably, yeah. And then they have Johansson. They have a good center. They have like a good.
They're good down the middle.
Yeah, really good down the middle. Bonino's in there, and their defense jumps into the play, but they're smart about it. Winnipeg seems like they're less disciplined.
Nashville has a lot of depth. You can go down their second line could be a first line on a bunch of teams. I mean, it's just they're broke, and they're young too. Like I said, they've got, which obviously contracts will probably be situation later on down the road with salary cap and everything, but they've got their window to win.
Fiala's really good too.
Now. Fiala's good.
They just can't take the President's Trophy.
Yeah, they just can't win the curse of the President's Trophy.
What they don't know. Secret time. What they don't know. Did you see that?
Gotta lean in a little bit there.
Did you see the stand up for that?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh,
I missed it.
Dude, it's funny, but anyways. Secret time. I have Nashville winning the President's Trophy.
Wrong.
You got Winnipeg.
Just my opinion. No, I have Winnipeg winning the division, but I got Tampa as my
I have Nashville winning the division.
because of the Swedes.
I don't know. But I have them winning. Because the only team that's going to win from the Central is Dallas. Everyone else, not going to happen.
Not gonna happen.
And everyone's like, wow, that's really unprofessional of you. Well, I'm not a professional.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid.
I'm not getting paid.
Pay me and I'll put your opinions on the show.
Yeah. Well, I'm not getting paid. No one's paying me. I don't have to be unbiased. I'm letting you know now.
This is a show. These are opinions.
These are our opinions.
This is predictions are the definition of opinions.
We're putting this online. What makes you think we're making money? We're not.
The internet's all fact. You know that.
I'm hoping we get enough people to view, and the comments are just like, I can't believe he doesn't want Nashville to win. That's right. They're going to win the President's Trophy, and then they're just going to make it to like the conference finals
again,
and they ain't going to see the big dance. They're going to make the court.
Dallas is. They're going to be on the homecoming court, but they're not going to make the big dance.
That's right.
Oh God, this reminds me too much of my job. I hate it. I love it. I love my job.
Me too.
They're
But
not listening.
that's fine. We're not plugging at your work yet. No, I'm just So after those top 2 teams, it leaves us with our next little fun topic, which is the mess that is the Central Division. Now, I have everybody in here. Right, that's 5 teams. I'm counting it now as a fun little joke because I wrote this a month ago. I put Blackhawk down.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought they were going to be awful. Little did I know.
Oh yeah. Captain Series. Back on the tear.
What did I tell you? I think they're back.
I don't know.
I can't remember. I said somebody's back, and you're like, I don't know. But
Carolina? Maybe. I don't know. I'm just...
no, I told you.
With everybody else, I hate Chicago.
There was part of that, but I had them at the bottom because I was like, they're a mess. But the 4 other teams that could be really competitive with each other, because Dallas struggles with New York teams for some unknown reason. Send us to New York.
Yeah.
We're fine against Buffalo, but most people don't realize Buffalo's in New York.
Yeah, we can rock Buffalo. Sometimes. I mean, we only see them twice a year.
We see them twice a year, but when we play the Rangers,
40 saves. At least.
Or they play the Islanders, or when they play the Devils, the Stars just throw defense out the window.
All you have to say is not Matt Martin. What am I saying? Matt Molson. He's not with the Islanders anymore. He's with Buffalo again. I think he switches so much, but every game he scores about 3 or 4 goals against Dallas. It never fails.
New Jersey too. There's no defense. So, but you only play those teams twice. You play the Central 7 times. 5 to 7?
I don't know.
I think you play them 5 to 7. They change it up on the scheduling.
Like
the scheduling happens, but you play them the most. We can beat Minnesota. It goes back and forth. we are now able to beat St. Louis. For a while, no one was like, Dallas can beat St. Louis.
Colorado. Ooh.
For some ungod known reason. Okay. He's like Voldemort. Let's be
He's got
honest.
that number 1 on his jersey.
Dallas can't beat those teams. They can now beat Chicago. They can now beat St. Louis. They're iffy with Minnesota. They can't beat Colorado. Dallas has to.
They're on national TV.
I don't know. Whoever wins, besides Nashville and Winnipeg, whoever wins out of those 4 teams that just beat up the rest of the division,
Yeah.
you got to be over 500 in your own division. I think you could look at that later.
At least.
Like,
especially in the Central.
what I was telling you, it was like 100 and you needed 97 points at least in the East, and you needed 100 and something in the West.
Yeah, it was like 1-on-1 or something like that.
It was,
even to get in the top 3 in the Central.
Yeah, and I go, so Winnipeg is going to be very
Nashville
difficult.
was like 116, 117. Winnipeg had like 114, 115.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota was over 100. So, I mean, it's just like, good luck. You got to win about 45 to 50 games to get in the playoffs.
Right, I said Minnesota's going to be really hard to beat this year because they're defensively, they have Dubnyk, they play really well. They don't take a lot of penalties, they're determined. St. Louis, they can take penalties at times.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have scoring.
No.
Colorado takes too many penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut them down.
Yeah, Colorado takes too many penalties, and at one point they were just taking so much water on. And Varlamov was just like, at some point your boat's going to capsize. I'll use this. This is going to be a terrible reference.
Titanic?
You got me.
Got him.
Colorado is like the Titanic. They need defense. There might be an iceberg out there, and then they're right up on it. And they go, we didn't have any
we can get
defense.
around this one.
And they're like, we'll just... and they take on too much, and then they sink to the bottom of the sea.
Oh, bad.
I told you it's not going to be a good one.
It'll work. It's the only boat reference there is out there. Can you think of anything other than the Titanic to use for a disaster?
I mean, we can say the Central Division.
Arizona? I'm sorry. I apologize.
I could say the Central Division's like the Florian Triangle. They all go in. You don't know what's really going to happen. Maybe they come out.
It's like
but they usually don't.
I'm trying to think of that one scientific reference, but science is not my strong suit, so I'm just going to move on. I'm not even going to try.
Geography, science,
Math.
Math.
English.
He's a writer, doesn't like to write.
The core of American education.
The core of basic education.
Not to mention, I'm not going to get into Texas education. We're not going to go there.
It's better than Oklahoma. Again,
Hey-o.
we can do different videos.
All the Sooner hockey fans out there, make the trip down to Dallas. Come see your boys.
You boys, yeah. That's me. Whoever wins out of those top 4 teams, because I still think Chicago is not that good.
Yeah, they're having a good stretch. They're having a good start to the season. Ken and Taves are playing well, but once that goes down, who they got to back them up?
And again, this is preseason, so I'm looking at them like they're not going to be that good. I don't know. You got any thoughts on the Central Division before we go on a tangent?
How about Colorado?
Colorado?
How about them Avs?
Oh, God.
Landeskog, McKinnon.
I say this with the most sincerity. And I texted you this last week, too. I watch a lot of hockey because there ain't nothing to do where I'm from.
Gotta turn that accent on.
No. It's mostly Spanish.
Spanish. Yeah. It's a mix. It's Texas, So.
And where I'm currently at, where I'm watching all these games,
for sure,
mostly Spanish. I watched Colorado's game. I even watched the Colorado game last night.
Oh, I watched the one with Tampa a couple of nights ago,
Yeah.
last week, whenever it was.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
days run together Wednesday night.
I saw that too, and I usually choose different broadcasting. And I really
we got the greatness that is Pierre Maguire.
Oh, dude, that made me cry. You missed it. I know we had this somewhere. Opening night. I asked Bodie, I know this is a different circle. Speaking of terrible broadcasting, I really hate. Let me go back. I really hate. Let me go back before we go forward. I really hate Colorado's broadcasting people.
Oh, it's too high pitched.
High pitch? That's not my issue. It's the same issue you have with the Bruins broadcasting.
Oh, homers? For sure.
Dude, so bad.
It's bad.
Like,
shout out to Jack Edwards.
Have you listened to the Avalanche broadcast? Not like they're bad at their job.
I haven't heard it this year.
Dude,
I've heard it in the past, obviously.
I was watching one like last year when Nashville was just beating up on people, and they go, "Look at the comparisons between this line and this line. Colorado's right with them," and Colorado was at like 7 at the time.
Yeah,
they were
no, you're not.
Yeah, they were ranked. Their team was last place.
Tell me about whenever you're in a first or second in the
Yeah,
Central.
they were like they're right next to each other. Now I know our paths are a little bit different, and I'm like, dude, biggest.
Theirs is at the bottom. Theirs is at the top.
I'm like, man, I make some stretches on connecting things at time. Part of that's college life, and another part of that's just me, just like, oh, like that's a reach to like connect. That was a reach.
Yeah.
Now it's a little more accurate, but dude, they're like, I was listening to it, and they were like,
didn't they say they had like the best
third line
or fourth line in hockey? I'm like, yeah.
I'm like,
debatable.
I'm like, dude, that's such a bold
Very
statement,
debatable.
but there's such a home broadcast. They were cheering the other night that Matthews didn't score a goal, and they announced it in the stadium. They go, they just announced in the stadium. I'm
That's
like,
pretty bad.
and
I get it. He's lighting everybody up that he plays against, but it's like that's not an accomplishment.
they go,
You can beat Toronto.
no,
That's an accomplishment.
no, they said he didn't score, so like now our guy's in the lead, and they wouldn't stop talking about him. Yeah, they're like, and Rantanen now has the lead. And I'm like, dude, there's nothing wrong talking about that. Let me get that straight. There's nothing wrong talking about it. But Colorado just thinks like, besides Boston, they're the greatest gift to hockey.
If we can beat this team or this guy in one game, we're better than the rest of their season.
That's exactly the line of thought.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't.
It's like that. I can't base your team off of one game against one really good team or a player.
I can.
I can, but I don't.
I try not to. But when I listen to,
congratulations, we got lit up by Matthews and Tavares.
no,
and Marner.
they were celebrating. You know,
It's like I get it. You can celebrate. You shut them down. That's not easy to do.
but
Obviously, you got 10 goals in like what 7 games.
no, they weren't even playing the Leafs. Matthews didn't.
Oh,
score.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, they announced.
That's what it was. They
yeah.
played in a completely different game.
Yeah, and they announced it
against each other.
Yeah, and they were like, "Yeah, so we're kind of." I'm like, "Dude, you just."
Stretch.
I'm like, such a
Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, dude, it annoys me so much, and I really hate him. I texted you that, and then I texted you the other night about Pierre. Well, now we're gonna roll forward to this because
this is a topic. This is another Joe Buck conversation.
oh my god,
Just on the hockey side.
Because I downloaded the app for NBC Sports so I could watch the game.
Mistake.
Yeah,
well, you can listen to Doc and Eddie.
I did. I got the first game with Doc and Eddie, right? And I'm like, oh,
it was
yeah.
the late night game.
It was a late night game.
Colorado.
And I was thinking I was going to get the California broadcasters, or I was going to get the Colorado broadcasters. What'd they give me? They gave the world Pierre.
Gave the world Pierre.
National TV.
And I like the guys that used to do San Jose. The San Jose guys are fun to listen to.
I listen to them.
Or, I don't know. I can't remember if I've listened to Tampa Bay guys.
I like Tampa. I like Florida's guys.
I love the guy, Joe Beninati, for Washington.
I like him too.
Just destroys it.
Yeah.
And John Forsland's one of my favorite with the Hurricanes.
Yeah. There was one game I was in.
Hey, what do you say?
Yeah, dude, all about it. But Boston, I don't mind. Like, it's bad, but not as bad as Colorado to me. And there's one game where the broadcaster was a sub in. It was 2 years ago? 3 years ago? I don't know. Point is, I'm in Abilene. If you guys wondering where Abilene is and you're not from Texas,
Somewhere in the middle.
it's about 2 hours from DFW. Okay, middle of nowhere. Watching this game with my cousin. It's a good thing we were watching it on our laptop because for about a good 5 minutes, there was no play calling.
That's great.
It was just storytelling, and it was random.
It's like, what is it? I'm glad this is on TV and not radio. I can't understand what is going on in this
It's
game.
like the Dodgers guy would tell stories between innings. And I go, I don't
Vince
know.
Scully.
Yeah, I don't know.
Legend.
Yeah.
But
No.
he's been there long enough that
His stories are more interesting than the game at times.
he's so great at baseball that he had no, what do you call it, color commentator. Just a play-by-play, and that's it. That's all you need. One-man broadcast crew.
Yeah, that's fine. But this guy was out there just telling stories like that, and I'm like, first off, this isn't baseball.
Yeah.
Second, there are things
It's
happening.
9 o'clock at night. What is going on in this game?
it's 9 o'clock. We're in the second period, right? It's a late game. We're watching a late game. It's a second period. There's action. I'm pretty sure someone scored a goal, and the guy didn't call it, but you could hear the horn go off, and he was still telling the story.
It's like, hold on, I got to get to the punchline.
Well, yeah, I was like, that was the worst broadcast I think I listened to.
Yeah. I hate it whenever it's Wednesday night rivalry, it's Philly or Pittsburgh or something like that, and I get the Philly commentators.
Philly's not bad. They put Enzo in there.
I can't do it. Well, sometimes. But, like, most of the time Eddie's with, is it Chicago?
Chicago.
He's like the color commentator for Chicago. But I hate Philadelphia broadcast. Not as much as Boston, obviously.
No, Philly put Eddie on it, and he does Chicago and Philly this year, I think.
I don't know.
It's not
Just
terrible.
the ones I've listened to whenever the Stars play the Flyers or something. I'm like, it's just... Ooh,
Okay.
I hate Philly. But not as much as Boston. You got that... You're number one in my heart, Boston, for how much I hate you.
You know what? This will be fun. This will be a fun little video. If we get like 100 likes, next time we're together, we'll just talk about the commentators we hate.
Oh my God.
We'll do a whole episode of commentators of the NHL.
Oh, yeah.
And then, again, if we get 1,000 likes, we'll
I'll
just
make a-
talk
I'll
about
make
Joe
a
Buck.
list. I'll make a list.
We'll make a list. But if we get 1,000 likes, we'll just talk about Joe Buck for an hour.
I could do that, too.
It could go either way.
Yeah. We might do that regardless.
Oh, we did.
You're
well,
not going to hear it if you don't pay for it.
if
That's prime content right there.
If you don't do your part, and you won't get the 15-minute pre-show. I'm pretty sure it's more than 15 minutes.
It's going to be a rant for at least an hour.
You're just going to hear Bodie rant for an hour over Joe Buck.
Oh, he's the greatest at being the worst.
You know what? We might even make a reaction video. We'll just find videos on YouTube, and we'll play Joe Buck commentary.
Don't
And
do that to me. Don't do that to me.
we'll do that for 1,000 likes.
I got to make it through the World Series first. And then I say I won't have to hear him, but then the NFL is back, so.
Dude, it's so funny. It's so
I
funny.
can't get away from him.
It is so funny. We'll do that for 1,000 likes. I'll make Bodie do that. So now we're going to get to the part of the video of trophy selections.
Yeah. Final segment, guys. If you made it this far, congratulations.
I know. We ran it on a while.
It's been good.
You know what? 1,000 likes.
First in-person show.
First in-person show. It's going to be a lot like this. 1,000 likes, though. We'll make Bodie watch Joe Buck videos, and we'll let him rant for an hour. And we'll release the, 15-minute pre-show video.
Yeah. I feel like that's incentive to get likes, but I feel like it's also torture at the same time. So hit that like button so you make me miserable.
Make you miserable. But don't forget to subscribe. I know we've been plugging that a lot, but we just can't ever do it enough until, we have 100 people.
We're not even out there, man.
Yeah, I know.
We're there.
We put one video out. It was
Like a month ago.
It was a month ago.
Before the season started. It's been a month now?
It's been
into the season?
It's been a month into the season. We did it a little bit. We did it a week before regular season.
Over Skype.
And we did it over Skype.
Difficult.
And we did it where it was. We had no clue what we were really getting ourselves into, but it was a good tester. I'm happy with it. Not over the moon. We didn't promote for it.
Yeah.
You can watch it. I ain't going to take it down. You can watch it.
I ain't going to tell you that.
The audio.
I ain't going to say that Taylor Swift don't deserve it, but I mean, Beyonce had the best record of all time.
Yeah, this video is definitely going to be better than the first one. But now we're going to go to the trophy selection. So, you got yours? You want to go first, or you want me to start listing something?
I got to go on your list.
Oh,
How about I just respond to what your answer is, because I don't have the list of awards in front of me.
I have a list. I had to look all these things up.
Oh.
And I know it was a stretch, but the other thing I did, because Buddy also sent me this.
Oh, I'm still happy. I put it on Twitter, but it's a couple of months ago. My pick for the Hart Trophy winner, it's dominating right now.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So you remember that one?
I remember that one. I remember my Vesna pick, which has gone down the drain so far. Thanks a lot, Hellebuck. Congratulations. No? I did pick Hellebuck early on.
No, you picked him for your fantasy team. You're telling me?
I thought I picked him for Vesna, too.
No.
Shit. Who did I pick? I forget sometimes when it's been 2 months.
This is so much fun. Now, I have his list. Who's your Hart Trophy?
Hart Trophy was Austin Matthews.
Okay, you got that one right.
I nailed it.
Who's your Norris one, then?
My Norris. Who did I pick as Norris? Hedman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Same team for Vezina.
Same team for Vezina. Oh, Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm smarter than I think.
You got your Art Ross one.
Art Ross was Connor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Calder.
Calder was, I said, Heiskanen.
Yeah,
Obviously, as a Stars fan.
Big homer.
I was going to pick Pettersson early on. But with the injury, who knows how that's going to drop off.
And your Selke.
My Selke. God, who did I pick for Selke? It always comes back to thinking about Bergeron for Boston, but I don't think that's who I picked.
Mm-mm.
Ooh, this is going to be a tough... TJ Oshie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's
what a dominator.
You sent
How
that to
about
me.
that?
Yeah.
I nailed it, guys. I thought I picked Hellebuck, but I was smart and picked Vasilevsky.
No, he picked Hellebuck for his fantasy team.
Oh, yeah, that was a mistake.
I don't know if he auto-drafted that. I wasn't there.
I didn't. That was my first pick as a goaltender, was Hellebuck, because of those 44 wins last year. Struggling to get to about 3 or 4 right now. So, hey, I traded him, so shout out to the Jets fans. Thanks for that. I did get Smith back in that trade, so I'm really winning. I'm in last place. Help me out, please. Send in your picks or trades of who I should get.
Oh, dude, comment that. Comment goalies Bodie should pick over Hellebuck.
I had Murray. He's given up 6 a night, and then he got a concussion. Oh. So I'm winning at everything right now.
It's fantasy. It's okay. So for my...
It's not real.
It's not real. So I looked this up. They gave me a long list, but I'll just go off of what you gave me. So the Hart one, I put Connor McDavid.
Kana.
I got Kana. And then I put Sergey because, let's face it,
Bob is a beast.
Yeah. And then I put John Gibson because that's the only reason why I'm kind of winning right now. But I'd lean more Connor McDavid on that. For Vezina, I couldn't decide. Because I also put Vasilevsky, but Varlamov is playing out of his mind right now.
Oh, yeah.
John Gibson's playing out of his mind. And Holtby's usually pretty solid.
If
and
they
then
had better offense in Anaheim, it'd probably be a steal.
I think he's still a steal.
Yeah.
He's a steal pick for Anaheim, but they gotta help him out. And then I have Price in there because you can't really leave the best goalie. Yeah, you can't leave one of the best goalies off. But Vezina, dude, he's not healthy enough.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to bring that up. But
he's not healthy enough for me. I would say Varlamov is what I'm leaning to. My Calder was Peterson.
We're still on the fence.
I don't know.
I've heard both. I'm sticking with Pettersson.
The kid out from Vancouver, Elias. I liked him. I watched this first.
They got body slammed about a week ago.
And we'll talk about that in a couple minutes too. But I went with him. My Art Ross was Connor because I think he's back to back, so 3-peat.
Yeah, I think he's the first one to do it since Mario.
It was somebody
Yager.
Yeah,
Yager.
You could
the legend.
I don't know. I could pull up the list. My Norris, I was like, you know what?
Carlson.
No.
Going off the rails.
Normally it's Carlson.
Yeah.
This
will be the year that he wins it, though.
Third time in a row. I have no problem with it. It's a win-win for me.
Yeah.
I just love the flow. I do have to update my jacket, though.
No.
Because when I bought the jacket...
Sadness.
It was an Ottawa jacket. Let me get this straight.
Teal paint on it.
It was an Ottawa jacket. I will have to. And it was him wearing the black... And then kind of the striped one.
The giant O on it.
Yeah, it was him wearing that. But the jacket itself is a red.
Super red.
Yeah, Bodie's seen it. Super red. It's clean. It's a clean jacket.
Nice.
It's a nice jacket. We got to teal that up.
Or just make it black and put some teal little.
We could, but I got to change the jersey then.
Yeah, I don't have the artistic skills to pull that off.
Where did I get that from? I got it from.
Can we send it back in and get new colors put on it?
I don't know, dude. It took them a month to mail it to me, though.
So maybe not.
They're based out of Philly. I can look at it's Everything Hockey. That's where I got it from.
Against you, Philly.
Yeah. Well,
you're losing.
Yeah. So yeah, I went with PK Subban.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Got the cover of EA, playing well.
Yeah, shooting arrows into the crowd.
Dude, all about it. All about it. We'll talk about that too in a minute. We'll talk about that in the next video. I got this big... I'm excited about the topic of celebrations.
Oh, Sellies. Selly hard.
Ever since the NFL brought that back...
We should do bat flips in hockey.
I wish they could.
Throw sticks into the crowd.
I'm about it.
It wasn't a penalty.
My Selke. I went Bergeron. And if it isn't Bergeron, I picked Kopitar.
Kopitar, yeah. I knew that was coming. Finally got it last season.
I went Ovechkin with the score.
Richard.
Yeah. Scoring
Richard, I haven't made my picks.
You haven't made your picks on that? And Jack Adams.
Jack Adams for
Coach of the Year.
Paul. Maurice. Carolina. Let's go.
I was riding.
I'm just basing this off because I didn't make preseason picks for these awards.
No, we didn't make preseason picks for these. We're misleading on that.
I did for like six of them.
He did for
the 6 ones I could remember the names of.
Yeah, the 6 he sent me, he made preseason picks. Now, I was thinking it was a long list, so I made longer picks, but Jack Adams, I went Rod Brindamore.
Oh, I like it.
I like it. I like the name. I like the style he's got out there.
Wait a minute, did I just say Paul Maurice for Carolina? I did.
You might have.
I forget that he's in Winnipeg now. He's no longer in Carolina. That's what I meant. I didn't mean Paul Maurice. I meant Carolina. I forget Brendan Moore's not a player anymore.
I'm riding the wave out in Carolina now. Dude, there's gonna be so many Carolina.
There's a hurricane coming.
There's gonna be so many storm jokes in a few.
It's gonna be a weather report.
Pretty much. So now I went with that because I'm all about that. Now for the President's Trophy, like again, secret time. I went with Nashville.
I would have accepted that a year or two ago.
A year ago, yeah, because they did it a year ago.
Because they did. It's a win-win. I still stick with Tampa.
I got Tampa.
Tampa's my team.
Are we basing it off the preseason picks that you did for the...
That was my pick going in.
For the division champs?
Trophy and division.
Yeah, for division?
Yeah.
I went for Atlantic.
I'm going to go with the Metallica reference and Ride the Lightning.
That's fine. I think for Metropolitan...
Metro, I switched back from last year because Capitals went on a tear, but I'm picking Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I had Pittsburgh winning the Metro. I had the Atlantic being Toronto.
I still picked Tampa, I think.
Yeah.
Or did I?
Yeah,
I
if they win the President's Trophy.
And then I picked Toronto for second place.
Yeah.
And then Boston.
And then Pacific Champs. Looking at it now, I wrote San Jose.
I think I said San Jose.
But I got Central Champs as Nashville still.
I either went with San Jose. I went with Anaheim for Central.
Yeah.
Central. Pacific. That's who I went with.
But we'll see.
Ducks fly together.
Ducks fly together. Fly together on IR.
Hey-o. Get better, Perry. Everyone misses you out there on the ice.
Oh, yeah. Missing all the action now. That's our second video. We're going to break this one.
What a doozy.
What a doozy. I mean, that took us a while. No.
That's the Western Conference.
That's the Western Conference. It's a mess, just like this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Is it a podcast?
It's a hot mess.
Is this a podcast? I don't really know what we are. Whatever this is, we will appreciate. We will appreciate. We're doing this for fun. Now, I really think we're going to plug this video more than the last one, but
yeah, probably for sure. As the dog sleeps on the floor.
Yeah, if you hear
exciting content.
If you hear the dog snoring. Sorry, we'll put pictures of Sass.
We'll put pictures.
I'll put her picture up. She got no teeth. She really looks like. She really looks like she's a third liner.
She ain't got no teeth.
She got no teeth, dude. She missing a couple chiclets.
It's all right.
Yeah, she my baby. She's fast as the wind. She's fat as hell though.
She's fast.
She is. Little dachshund races.
Everyone
Everyone
roller skates on her.
Oh, dude.
I'm all about it, guys. Send in your roller skates.
She's not
dog roller skates.
She's not Caruso.
Have they already invented those? Because I'm inventing them.
I don't know. They can't wear socks, man.
Yeah, they get all
high
steppy. If that's a term.
Yeah.
It is now.
It is now. It's all high steppy. Yeah, that's our second video. We're going to look into the camera this time. Fresh. Keeping it fresh.
So fresh.
We got to lead with that next time.
We might want to say the name of the podcast.
Whatever this is, we're going to try to keep it fresh. We're still getting better, but this is our second episode.
We're getting there. I forgot you were even there, camera.
Yeah, this is true. We didn't really look at you.
This the entire time.
My bad. We'll work on it. We'll figure it out.
It's more like a conversation, though.
You're listening. We'll look at you towards the end.
Yeah, I'll give you an office look. I'll just look over. Pan over there, deadpan.
Deadpan. I think that's how we're going to close it.